Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Paula and I underwent open heart triple bypass surgery on April 28th, 2025 at just 36 years old. I created this channel so that I could share my journey and hopefully help others along the way. In this video, we're going to cover the first 4 weeks of my recovery. And also, just before I start, I just wanted to remind everyone that every single person's body is different. We all heal and recover differently. So what may have happened with me may not happen with you. So just keep that in mind when you watch these videos from myself or from other people as well. Because when I went through this myself, I was a little disappointed when I was recovering, and I felt like I wasn't where I thought I would be at that time. So basically, the whole month I was slightly disappointed. Maybe not slightly, I think I was very disappointed. But you have to keep in mind the type of surgery that you had and the types of harvests that you've had as well. So I just wanted to remind you, it's okay. Everyone's different. So just as a quick recap from the last video, I was discharged from the hospital on Saturday, May 3rd. So Saturday, May 3rd, I was able to come home and take my first shower. And I told you about the next day, on that Sunday, I had a low-grade fever after waking up from my nap. Before I was discharged and while I was at the hospital, one of the things that my husband tried to do before I came home was try to find a solution for our central air. Our home is on the older side. It was built in the 1920s, and our existing air conditioning system when we moved in, it was already older as well. It was probably almost 20 years since the AC was installed. Knowing that it would get warmer soon, and also knowing that I shouldn't be in warm temperatures, he really wanted to make sure that that was fixed before I got home. The reason why he did this was because he just wanted me to be comfortable. He didn't want me to have to worry about possibly having complications because I was hot. And yes, we could have gone with window units, but our home is equipped for central air, so that's what we did. We have a half bathroom on the first floor and the full bathroom is on the second floor. So anytime I had to use the bathroom, I just went downstairs. The walk is probably around 50 feet. I'm not really good with measurements, but I think it's about 50 feet. You have to walk from the living room through the dining room to the kitchen and then the bathroom. That walk, it's not too bad, and I wasn't really out of breath when I would walk to the bathroom. I would, however, be out of breath when I would have to take a shower because the full bathroom is upstairs. So I would walk up the stairs very slowly, making sure that I hovered my hand over the handrail. By the time I got up to the top of the stairs, I was out of breath, and I would need to sit on the toilet for a minute or two to catch my breath. And then I was able to remove my clothes and prep for the shower. It involved having to remove my surgical bra and the gauze that was sitting on top of my chest tubes. The first couple of days, actually the first couple of weeks that was happening, this whole process was very slow. The shower, it was a whole routine. So after I removed all my clothes, my husband helped me prep my towels. Like I said in my last video, I always had 3 washcloths, and he would pump the soap on them. And the reason why he would pump it himself is because I could not do that. Even just using the palm of my hand to pump the soap, it hurt. It would hurt my chest. I could feel it on my chest. He would then place the washcloths in this area behind the tub, and that's what I would use to wash myself. The shower itself was rough for a couple of weeks, and it's because I was just in pain. My movements were very slow. and very calculated. I didn't want to rush at all. I also tried to make sure that water wasn't dripping in front of my body too much, but of course it's difficult to not do that because the water's just coming down with the shower head. So because the water is just trickling down, that affected the way that my chest tube incisions healed. And for a little bit, we thought that it was healing quite nicely. But then after a while, we realized that it wasn't drying up. Every now and then, it would just start bleeding after I took a shower. So what we started doing was, instead of putting the gauze on right away, we would let it air dry. And that helped a lot. There was a lot of tinkering with it because sometimes when we left it open, it would still bleed. So then I would have to put the gauze on because there has to be something on it, especially when I'm sleeping. I was finally able to stop using gauze for my chest tube incisions on May 27th. That's how long it took. After my showers, I needed help drying off. It was because the towels were too heavy for me to lift. And it might sound like such a small thing, but there were many items that I couldn't lift because it just hurt my entire body. So my husband helped me dry off, and he helped me put my clothes on for a couple of days. The first couple of days as well, he helped me dry my hair with a blow dryer. I think it was after the 4th or 5th day that I decided to start trying to dry my hair on my own, and I just wanted a little bit of independence. And the way that I would use the blow dryer was with my hand and arm close to my body. The reason why I did that was because if I had my arm out like this, that would hurt. So I made sure to keep everything close to my body and blow dry very, very carefully. After I blow dried my hair, I would gather myself because I had to go down the stairs. And similar to going up the stairs, I did it very carefully and slowly. And by the time that I was able to get on the last step, I was exhausted again. So I'd waddle to my recliner, lie down for a little bit, and watch TV, and then I would try to go to sleep. My husband would go to our bedroom, and I slept downstairs in the living room on my recliner. That's my little recliner nest. I have all the stuff that I need. On the side, I have my blood pressure cuff, so I could check my blood pressure in the morning and at night. Then I have my meds here. That is my spirometer. I have a bottle of water that my husband opens for me because I have, again, mobility issues with my hands. And then tissue paper, laptop. I couldn't even use the laptop before. And remote. So everything that I need on the side there. And I know this is weird because we have the long couch in the back and then my recliner, but we couldn't really put the recliner anywhere else after we bought it. And we bought this recliner specifically for me. I found it very difficult to get back to a regular night routine in terms of going to sleep. I was exhausted and I would try to go to sleep, but I woke up every 2 hours. And I think it's because my body and my brain was still in hospital mode. I think it got used to being woken up every couple of hours. So that was something that I experienced for about 3 to 4 weeks. With each week, my sleep got better, but I would still wake up. So even though sometimes I would go to sleep from 11 to 4, and then I would wake up, I can't go back to sleep for another 2 hours. I would go back to sleep at around 4 or 5, and then wake up again at 6 o'clock. That's how it was. It was also very difficult to get comfortable on the recliner before I would go to sleep. So I would try to sit up and then lie back down, and I just had a lot of discomfort. Even when I took my medicine, I would have my Tylenol at night. It did help a little bit, but I still had a lot of discomfort. It's very hard to describe. I couldn't help but miss being normal. Hi. I felt like I really needed to jump on here and emphasize a little bit more just how frustrating it was for me. My first month of recovery was just very frustrating. Many of the videos that I watched and the Reddit posts that I read did not align with my experiences. Many of the posts and the videos were uploaded by males, so I believe maybe that's why my experience was different. But I will say though, there were other men too who did not recover quickly. Some people were miserable, others were completely fine. There was one video of this one guy, he's in his 40s, and he was doing push-ups by week 4, I believe. It was my first week at home when I saw him post that video. And I was mortified because I could not fathom doing that at 4 weeks. I just couldn't. I feel like my chest would break if I had done that. So that's why in the beginning I said everyone is different, everyone heals differently. So I was very frustrated, and it's okay to be frustrated as well, but you also have to set realistic expectations. I certainly didn't, because I thought that I was so confident that I would bounce back very quickly. And by week 3, week 4, I was like, I am not feeling much better than I did the first week. So it's okay, just hang in there, everything will be better. Okay, we could go back to the video now. For my first week at home, my husband was with me as well. So that was really nice because he helped out so much. And also my family would come over and help out with lunch. And when my husband went back to work, my family still continued to come over, and they were the ones who were taking care of lunch and dinner sometimes. So for me, I was very fortunate, and I do feel very lucky that I had family support, and it really meant the world to me. So I'm very thankful. After a few days of being home, I noticed I was extra tired. Like I felt like it wasn't normal. And it wasn't, because when I would take my blood pressure, it was very low. Like I said in one of my other videos, my blood pressure medication was increased because there was one day where my blood pressure was just really high, and that was because I ate the steel cut oats. So because my prescription was increased from 25 milligrams to 50 milligrams, that really lowered my blood pressure when I was home. And I ate relatively healthy. So my blood pressure readings would sometimes be around 90/70 or 90/60. So I had to tell my doctor, this is what's happening. He was actually on vacation at that time. So one of the other cardiologists at his practice said, I can continue taking my medication as is and then just wait until I see my doctor again, because I had a follow-up with my cardiologist the following week. But I didn't feel comfortable continuing taking my medication when my blood pressure was that low. So I actually stopped taking my blood pressure medication whenever it got too low. I had my follow-up with my cardiologist on May 13th. When they do vitals, I usually have to lie down on the bed so that they could do the EKG. And anytime I would lie down, I hated it. So when I lied down, I couldn't help but gasp a little bit. The nurse took my vitals and my EKG, and when I was asked to sit back up, that also took a little while, and it hurt. So, but my follow-up went well. My cardiologist just looked at my incisions and listened to my heart. He ordered some blood work for my next follow-up with him, and I had a few questions like, is it okay to drink coffee? Is it normal that I feel numb with my thumb area and my arm here because I had my harvest? So the answers to that were, yes, that's normal, that it's numb, and that might last for a few months, sometimes up to 6 months. And coffee is fine. He chuckled a little bit because I think he knew I was being a little paranoid. So he also lowered my blood pressure medication. He saw that my numbers were low, so he said I could decrease my prescription in half. if I needed. And then we left the clinic, we got home. Also, when we drove to the clinic, I had my heart pillow with me. That's something that I kept forgetting to mention. I do have a heart pillow that the hospital provided. It's advised that you use it whenever you stand up. The reason why they advise you to use it is it's a reminder for you not to use your arms. But I'm super paranoid about certain things, so I didn't really need to use my heart pillow too much, and I found it cumbersome actually. There were times when it was helpful, like in the car it was helpful to have the heart pillow, especially because whenever I had the seat belt around me, it acted as a buffer, so that was nice. I didn't have to feel the seat belt on my chest. For that whole month, I had the lowest stamina that I've ever had in my life. Like I said, I would feel a little out of breath every time I walked, but it was good. I walked, I continued to walk. Sometimes I would walk in the backyard and walk in a circle just so I could get some steps in. And it was also good for my lungs. With my lungs, I was congested for over a month and I hated it. Even though I used the incentive spirometer religiously, it still took me over a month to get better. I also am prone to having a little bit of asthma, so it was very helpful that I had an inhaler. I do have albuterol. In terms of pain in my chest area, the right side of my chest was in more pain compared to my left side, and it was from my rib here all the way up to my clavicle, and even this part on my shoulder. All of my muscles were just sore. There were times when I was concerned that it might be a bone problem, but I tried not to be too crazy with my thoughts, and I constantly had to remind myself, okay, the pain that I'm having is not bone related, it is muscle related, and everything was just trying to get back to normal. I also noticed that there were times if I reached for something like this and I would bring my arm back, I would hear a clicking noise on this side of my shoulder. It wasn't anything weird or not normal. Over time, I was able to cough much better. I had my own system of coughing. And every time I would cough, it would feel like my chest is about to explode. So I hated it. I absolutely hated it. But you have to cough so that your phlegm would come up. So I had this method of hacking. I don't know how to describe it. It would be like I would kind of yell. Let's see if I could do it right now. I would, instead of coughing like like that, because it's coming, when I cough like that, it feels like it's coming from more my chest. I wanted it to come from my stomach almost, like the power of the cough was coming from my stomach. And I thought that was a really great method. So I would go and then cough at that point. And because I would do that, the phlegm would come up, and yeah, that's how I coughed. Just so you know, if you're scheduled for your surgery and you haven't had it yet, you can go ahead and practice those coughs because they are very important. And I would say that they are just as important as the incentive spirometer. So I think this is where I will end my video for now. I know it was a little bit short, but I hope that it was helpful and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave comments down below. I do enjoy hearing other people's stories and I try to respond as best as I can. So thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.